President Trump extending the ceasefire deadline for Iran, providing this statement on Truth Social, quote, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded.
Former State Department Deputy Special Envoy under President Trump and Iranian refugee Eli Kohanim joins us now. Eli, thank you so much for joining us. And what the president is referring to is that it is becoming increasingly clear that there are two factions inside Iran, the foreign ministry that could be willing to negotiate it with the United States and the IRGC who is not willing to negotiate or come to the table at all. So this morning we're at a standstill, at least diplomatically, but something like this can't hold forever. So what are next steps for both sides?
You know that the president is continuing. We are depriving the Iranians of $500 million in oil revenue per day. And Carly, you know, the economy there is already on the brink of financial collapse. We know that their currency is worthless. There's already been a run on their banks in Iran. They're having trouble paying their militias. And the president posted that on Truth Social overnight, and, you know, having trouble paying their forces. And so you put all of that together, and truly time is on the American side. The other thing, Carly, that you just reference to is the fact that the president has also exposed the infighting in Iran, which shows their weakness and vulnerability, as there seems to be a power grab going on internally for them. And so obviously the people within Iran are also tracking that, and for as long as it takes them to try to determine is the best course of action.
In light of all these factions that you just mentioned in Iran, do you believe the regime, whatever the regime actually is at this point, will ultimately come up with this unified proposal the president references? Or is that even possible with all these factions arguing and disagreeing with each other?
Todd, it's a good question. And, you know, the two factions are the political wing, which is the players that the United States has been in direct contact with, Araghchi, Ghalibaf, and Pezeshkian, the foreign minister, the speaker of parliament, and president. And then on the other side, you've got the IRGC led by Vahidi. Clearly, those two groups have different interests. I would say that the political group that the United States and even President Trump, there have been reports, have been in direct contact with, are more realistic because they fully understand, and we've seen some reporting on this, they understand power that the political players do not have. What I was saying, Todd, earlier is that this exposure of the internal rift within the regime is laying bare their weakness and their vulnerability to the entire world. Meanwhile, you've got the Pakistanis essentially begging President Trump to extend the ceasefire. So ultimately, whatever happens on the Iranian side, either they're going to come to reality and accede to all of President Trump's demand, which is what they would be wise to do, or they're not going to do that, and they will once again feel the brunt of the great military of the United States.
A lot of different opinions coming in right now, and one notable one is from Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who says the president has given Iran enough time to negotiate. He says now is time for military action, and he wants the U.S. to take Karg Island and create a compounding problem for Iran. What do you think about it?
And what I would suggest more is we look at adding the Iran-backed Iraqi militias to our target bank, because, Carly, they are right now also firing on U.S. assets and personnel, but also more importantly, perhaps, on our allies in the region, our Gulf Arab allies, who are so vulnerable right now in the region. And this has been a card that the Iranians have kind of held in their back pocket and used as they wish. So I would suggest that that might be something that the president might consider.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Pentagon has unveiled a record $1.5 trillion budget request. That's a 42% increase, with significant increases in spending on drones and counter-drone technologies. So with that budget request, we could see where the Pentagon feels.